Okay, picture this. It's 11 p.m. We've got a 17-year-old named Rahul sitting at his desk. He has made an absolute ironclad promise to himself that he's not going to move an inch until he finishes his math chapter. And, he starts strong, fully motivated, but about 10 minutes in, there's that familiar ding. Just one notification. He thinks, I'll just check it real quick and get right back to work. Well, we all know exactly how that ends. WhatsApp leads to Instagram Reels, which leads to YouTube Shorts, and then he's right back on Instagram. Suddenly, he's watching some guy his exact age buying a house for his parents, and another guy showing off this insane body transformation. And now it's not just a quick distraction anymore, right? It's a full-on spiral. His mom walks in, scolds him for wasting the money they've invested in his education, and walks out. And Rahul is just left sitting there, completely overwhelmed by his own thoughts. Will he succeed? Is he ever going to make his parents proud? His books are sitting right there in front of him, but his mind is literally paralyzed.
So let me ask you, be honest. Do you see a bit of your own reflection in Rahul's story? That anxiety, the endless comparison loop, that sudden drop in your self-esteem just from staring at a piece of glass? If you've ever found yourself sitting down with a solid plan to study, only to completely lose an hour of your life to someone else's highlight reel, you are absolutely not alone.
The sheer scale of this is actually mind-blowing. A staggering 90% of teenagers are stuck in this exact same cycle of overthinking and wasted potential. That's an entire generation paralyzed by digital noise. It's what we call the teenage trap. But hey, the good news? Science actually gives us the exact tools we need to break out of it. So let's dive into this explainer. Here's the exact map we're going to use today. Testing your reality, escaping FOMO and routine, managing attraction and validation, and breaking the loneliness cycle. Step 1. Test your reality. Time to hold up a mirror and see exactly where things stand. I'm going to run through 5 quick questions, and I want you to mentally tally your score out of 5. Just give yourself 1 point for every yes. You ready? First, when you sit down to study, can you truly focus, or does your mind constantly wander to your phone or video games? Second, can you control your emotions, or do you find yourself quickly spiraling into anger, sadness, or overthinking? Third, beyond your regular school and coaching, are you actively working on any outside skills? Fourth, do you actually follow through on the daily routines you set up for yourself? And fifth, are your friends genuinely loyal? Like, do they actually motivate you to succeed, or do they just pull you down into bad habits? Take a quick second to add up your score. Got your number? All right, here is the harsh truth. If your score is below a 3, you're officially stuck in the teenage trap. But listen, if you scored a 0, seriously, do not panic. Shockingly, when researchers asked these exact same questions, over 80% of teenagers scored a solid 0. Before you get too down on yourself, let's look at the science here. You aren't fundamentally broken. The biological culprit is just puberty and a rapidly developing brain. Hormonal changes naturally make your patience absolutely plummet. Little things are going to irritate you or make you sad. It's a completely scientifically proven phase. However, and this is a massive however, biology is not a free pass to let these traps ruin your future. We have to actively outsmart our own biology. Which brings us to step 2, escaping FOMO and routine. Let's dismantle the first 2 massive hurdles keeping you stuck. Trap number 1 is FOMO, the fear of missing out. You see someone on Instagram wearing a trendy shirt, then you see someone else wearing it, and suddenly your brain is screaming that you need this shirt, even if you really don't. Or maybe you feel this intense pressure to instantly reply to messages or share reels just because everyone else is doing it. It starts off as a totally harmless habit, but pretty soon your brain starts overthinking everything you don't have. The car, the house, the lifestyle. It creates this crippling anxiety. So how do we flip the script? The solution is JOMO, the joy of missing out. It's a total psychological shift. Instead of feeling anxious that you're missing out on a party because you're stuck studying for an exam, you actually find joy in the fact that staying in gives you a massive competitive edge. While everybody else is slacking off, you're building your future. You have to find that positive expectation in missing out. Now, let's talk about trap number 2, the education trap. Think about your average daily routine. You wake up, go to school, come home completely exhausted, maybe take a really brief rest, rush off to tuition or online classes, and then stay up way too late doing assignments. It's an endless, draining loop, and it leaves absolutely 0 time for personal growth or figuring out who you even are. You're surviving, sure, but you definitely aren't building yourself up. So how on earth do you break this loop when finding free time feels literally impossible? You use the start small rule. It takes exactly 45 minutes a day.
Just dedicate 45 minutes to something totally outside of your schoolwork. Maybe it's video editing, coding, graphic design, whatever. Carving out that small, protected block of time every single day is your ultimate escape key from that educational hamster wheel.
And why 45 minutes? Because it adds up incredibly fast. Researcher Josh Kaufman discovered something super interesting. It only takes about 20 hours of focused, deliberate practice to become highly proficient at a brand new skill. If you just put in that small daily effort, within a single month, you're going to hit those 20 hours and basically become an expert among your peers in a skill that actually matters in the real world.
All right, moving to step 3, managing attraction and validation. Let's navigate the messiest part of growing up.
Trap number 3 is all about crushes and relationships. Look, finding someone attractive is completely normal. That's just biology doing its thing. But the trap snaps right shut when attraction mutates into obsession. When you are wasting hours just staring at your phone, anxiously waiting for a text message, unable to study, unable to focus, and you're letting your entire mood for the day be dictated by whether or not they reply, that is toxic obsession, and it absolutely destroys your momentum.
Whenever you feel yourself slipping into that obsessive mindset, I want you to use this really powerful litmus test. Just ask yourself directly, does this attraction move me toward my goals or away from them? If thinking about them motivates you to work harder and be better, that's great. But if it derails your focus and leaves you feeling anxious, it's a dangerous distraction and you need to cut it off.
Right next to obsession is trap number 4, the validation trap. Imagine you put together this amazing outfit. You look in the mirror, you're feeling incredibly confident, so you snap a picture to send to a friend. And your friend replies, "Yeah, that shirt actually looks terrible on you." Boom. Instantly, your confidence shatters. You just let one outside opinion completely dictate your self-worth. Relying on external validation like that is a guaranteed one-way ticket to chronic anxiety. So here is your escape route from the validation trap. First, you absolutely must prioritize self-love. You've got to be your own biggest fan. Second, you have to entirely stop measuring your behind-the-scenes reality against someone else's carefully curated highlight reel. So what if your friend is scoring 90% and you're only at 60% right now? You are on completely different journeys. The only person you should ever be competing with is the person staring back at you in the mirror.
Finally, step 4, breaking the loneliness cycle. Time to tackle the most silent and dangerous trap of them all.
The stats here are honestly just alarming. 80% of teenagers secretly feel lonely. 8 out of 10. Yet, they outright refuse to share their true feelings with anyone because they're terrified of being mocked or judged. Everyone is just walking around feeling totally isolated while assuming that everyone else has it completely figured out. And it leads to this really dark irony. Teenagers today will easily share a dozen funny memes with their friends every single day, but they will actively hide their true feelings. Scientifically speaking, locking away those emotions and just letting them bounce around inside your head long term is a massive psychological risk factor. It directly leads to severe depression. You have to get those trapped emotions out of your head. Here are 2 incredibly practical, science-backed steps to do exactly that. Step 1, identify just 1 or 2 people in your life that you genuinely trust and start opening up to them. But if you truly feel like you have absolutely no one, move straight to step 2. Grab a pen and paper and start journaling. Write down your unfiltered, raw thoughts. Because the simple physical act of writing actually transfers that burden from your mind to the paper, instantly giving you back some much-needed mental clarity. So, we've laid out the map. We've gone over the biology, the joy of missing out, the power of those 45 minutes, how to audit your obsessions, and how to conquer that silent loneliness. The walls of the teenage trap are honestly only as strong as you allow them to be. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Will you stay in the trap, or are you going to start your escape today? The choice is entirely up to you.